I never meant to snoop. Mom's laptop was left open on the kitchen counter, her email inbox glowing in the dim evening light while she took one of her short, restorative naps. A subject line snagged my attention before I could look away. Royal Caribbean Cruise confirmation, final payment required. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, caught between curiosity and the small, stubborn voice that told me to close the lid. I clicked anyway, because some things are harder to ignore than others. I shouldn't, but a familiar tightness coils under my ribs, a knot of suspicion I have spent years trying to untangle. The confirmation details loaded, bright, and cheerful on the white screen. 3 passengers, Diana Evans, Summer Evans Cooper, Tom Cooper, luxury Bahamas cruise, 7 nights. Departure date, the 15th of June. The words felt obscene in that quiet kitchen, as if someone had written the sentence to deliberately pick at an old bruise. My hand flew to my mouth. The 15th of June. The exact day I'm supposed to be leaving for Italy, the trip I'd been saving for since college. The plan I repeated at every family dinner like a small, defiant prayer. The one my mother gently urged me to reconsider because of her health. My pulse thudded loud in my ears. For a moment the kitchen blurred into the soft edges of a watercolor painting. "Oh God," I whispered, scrolling through the sweet pictures and the prepaid excursions, the promise of sun and cocktails and silk-smooth ocean views. My vision narrowed and then blurred. They're going on vacation without me again. My hands trembled so much I could barely move the touchpad down to the payment section. $3,000 per person stared back, a sum taken from the family fund I contribute to every month. Memory hit like cold surf. Me at 8, pressed to the living room window, nose against the glass as Dad loaded suitcases into our battered station wagon. Summer, 13 and already figuring the next amusement, tossed beach toys onto the piled bags and called out, "See ya, sis," without looking back. Mom's hand landed on my shoulder with a too firm squeeze. "Next time, sweetheart," she said. "Someone has to watch Buddy." The phrase was gentle, but it left the door closed behind them. Buddy, our old retriever who apparently could not be left alone when they went to the shore, but somehow managed when they left me at home, because that was the logic of that family ritual. There was never a next time, only new excuses stacked like plates. Anger warmed my throat. A hot, tight thing with claws. I am not a child anymore. I'm 27, a grown woman who gave up her downtown apartment to move back home when Mom called, sobbing about mysterious symptoms the doctors could not explain. The apartment in downtown Tampa, the tiny balcony where I drank morning coffee while watching the sun spill gold over the bay, was gone. Gone with my security deposit and the extra fees I paid to rush the movers. All because Mom insisted she could not manage alone while waiting for test results that never seemed to arrive. An illness that conveniently grew worse when shopping trips with Summer were planned, but faded whenever bills needed attention. The pattern had a rhythm now, I could read it. My breathing went quick and shallow as I scrolled back through the email, hunting for anything that might prove I was mistaken. A line that said my ticket had been sent separately. A note that my room was reserved. Something. Anything. There was nothing. I closed the laptop and gripped the counter until my knuckles whitened, the kitchen spinning faintly around me. Behind me, the refrigerator hummed, its surface crowded with glossy photos from Summer's family vacations, the Poconos last year, Myrtle Beach the year before, Mom beaming between Summer and Tom in every shot. No picture of me. I forced 3 long breaths, just like my therapist taught me. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. The room steadied. This was not a sudden revelation. It was confirmation of a hurt I'd been tending quietly for years, what friends had hinted at, what my boss had questioned when I requested emergency family leave. My purse sat on the counter and I reached for it with steadier hands. In the zippered pocket, tucked where I always kept important things, was my Italy confirmation. Florence, Rome, Venice, 2 weeks of art and history and food that did not come laced with obligation or manipulation. I had planned to tell them tonight, to prepare myself for the guilt and the inevitable medical emergency that would bloom the moment I announced my departure. But I would not say a word. Let them think I knew nothing. Let them go on with their secret getaway while I quietly prepared for the journey I'd earned. Footsteps shuffled down the hallway. Mom's bedroom door eased open. "Isolde, are you home, sweetie?" She called in a voice threaded with feigned frailty. "I'm feeling a bit weak. Could you make dinner tonight?" I slid the laptop back where she had left it and straightened, smoothing my shoulders as if smoothing away something they were not meant to see. "Sure, Mom," I replied. My voice was steadier than I felt. "I'll take care of everything." And I would take care of everything, but not in the way she expected. Not this time, not ever again. The next day, since I was sleeping over because my mother claimed she was too ill to manage on her own, the vacuum screamed to life as I cleaned Mom's study, a task she suddenly found too dizzying to attempt. My shoulders ached from hours of scrubbing bathrooms she insisted made her faint, and as I worked, a calm clarity settled. I would keep my plans, protect my life, and stop letting their stories rewrite my future. Funny how her dizzy spells vanish the moment Summer suggests lunch at Bella's Italian. I bump the desk and a stack of papers slides to the floor. As I stoop to gather them, a familiar logo jumps out at me. First Federal Bank. Our family fund statement. The vacuum falls silent with a whine as I yank the plug from the wall. A chill in my stomach tells me to look closer. Really look. I sink into Mom's leather chair, unfolding the statement with trembling hands. At first the numbers blur, but then they sharpen into a nightmare I can't unsee. My name? $300. Automatic monthly transfer. Mom's name? $50. Manual deposit. Summer's name? $50. Manual deposit. My throat tightens as I whisper, "What the hell?" I flip through previous statements. The pattern repeats. Identical. Month after month. Every single time. I swivel to the file cabinet crammed with decades of financial records, yanking open the drawer marked family. I pull the accordion folder labeled Vacation Fund. Inside, a handwritten ledger, every line penned in Mom's flawless script. Myrtle Beach condo deposit. $900. Summer's new refrigerator. $1,200. Cruise excursion package. $750. Tom's golf lessons. $480. I choke as I flip through page after page. Years of withdrawals. Thousands upon thousands. My money. Tucked behind the ledger are photos of Summer's kitchen remodel, the granite countertops I admired, the custom cabinets I once praised. All of it bought with my contributions. The house creaks above me, Mom shifting in her bed during what she calls recovery time. A recovery that always miraculously ends when Summer shows up with shopping bags. My phone vibrates. Maggie from work. "Hey, did you finish that Henderson proposal?" she asks. "I just discovered I've been financing my family's vacations for years," I blurt. "I put in 6 times what they give. And they've been spending it on cruises I don't even get invited to." Silence stretches long, Then Maggie's voice hardens. That's not family, that's fraud. The word lands like a strike of lightning. Fraud, not duty, not loyalty. Fraud. Come stay with me, she insists. This weekend. I can't. I say automatically, then stop myself. Actually, maybe I can. Mom has Summer to lean on. Exactly, Maggie replies. And talk to Reynolds. He likes you. He'll work around your Italy schedule. After the call, I drive back to my old neighborhood. Mrs. Winters waters her roses just as she did when I was 8. When I pressed my face to the window and watched my family drive off without me. Isolde. Her face brightens. What brings you here? I sit on her porch swing, the chains creaking with a familiar comfort. Mrs. Winters? Did my family often go on vacation without me when I was little? She sets down her watering can, her expression shifting. Oh, sweetheart. I remember seeing you wave from the window. That sad little face. My throat closes. I was 8. I whisper. Her weathered hand folds gently over mine. I know, dear. I asked your mother once why you never went. She told me you preferred staying home. Back at the house, Mom's car now sits beside Summer's silver SUV. I brace myself as I step inside. There you are. Mom calls from the dining room. We were just about to call you. The table is set with the good china, her signal for a serious talk. Summer and Tom sit side by side, Summer's face arranged in her concerned sister mask while Tom stares at his water glass. We need to discuss finances, Mom begins, patting the chair beside her. Papers are stacked neatly by her plate, the statements she wants me to see. The cruise confirmation is conveniently missing. Summer and I were talking. Mom continues, voice trembling with rehearsed worry. With my medical bills and all the expenses, we need to pull together. Summer nods, squeezing Tom's hand. Family supports each other in hard times. Mom leans closer, eyes wide with feigned sympathy. We know how thrilled you are about Italy. But maybe now isn't the right moment. If you could contribute what you'd spend on that trip to the family fund instead. The air thickens, pressing against my lungs. I think of the ledger, the photos, the years of betrayal. My voice cuts sharp. What about your cruise? The room freezes. Tom coughs into his glass. What cruise? Mom asks, pitch too high. The Royal Caribbean cruise. I say, steady now. The 15th of June. Ocean View Suite. The one you, Summer, and Tom are taking the exact week I'm supposed to be in Italy. Summer's eyes dart to Mom's, a silent message exchanged. Where did you hear? Summer begins. I saw the confirmation email. I interrupt. And I know about the family fund too. How I put in 6 times what you do. How you've used my money for vacations, kitchen remodels, and golf lessons. Tom stares down at his plate. Summer's face tightens. Her mask cracking. Mom's cheeks flush crimson. Her supposed illness forgotten as anger surges. You went through our private papers? She snaps, her voice rising. Like you went through my Italy confirmation? I shoot back. The one you told me I should reconsider because of your supposed health problems? That's different. Summer snaps instantly. Mom needs you here. No. I correct. My voice sharpening. Mom needs my money. There's a difference. Silence spreads heavy between us. The kind that carries decades of hidden manipulation dragged out into the light. I'm going to Italy. I say at last. my voice clear and unshaken for the first time in years. And when I come back, we're going to have a very different conversation about this so-called family fund. I rise, leaving my napkin crumpled on the good china plate. Behind me, Mom begins the same hollow coughing routine she always performs when bills appear on the table. This time, I don't look back. The next morning, her tears trail me into the kitchen the moment I wake. They fall on cue, practiced like lines in a well-worn play. "After everything I've done for you," she sobs, clutching her cardigan across her chest as though it were armor. "I raised you alone after your father left. I sacrificed everything." Heat flares inside me, but I set my coffee mug on the counter carefully, refusing to slam it. Sunlight streams through the window, dust motes floating like the lies and half-truths that have lived in this house for years. "Mom, I booked this trip over a year ago. I've brought it up at every family dinner." Her voice climbs, trembling perfectly on cue. "When you know how fragile my health is? The doctor said stress could bring another episode." She insists, invoking that mysterious doctor again. The unnamed condition, the conveniently vague medical warnings that always appear the moment I reach for freedom. Summer breezes in, flawless hair despite the early hour. "Morning family drama," she chirps, shooting me a smirk before kissing Mom's cheek. "Don't worry, Mom, some people only think of themselves." The barb cuts exactly as she intends. I bite my tongue until I taste iron, and leave for work without a word. The next day, my phone buzzes for the 19th time. Another group text from Mom. "Having terrible pain today. Summer is coming over to help, since you're too busy with your vacation." Summer's cheerful thumbs up arrives seconds later, perfectly timed. I power off my phone and throw myself into the project I need to finish. That evening, I return home and methodically fold clothes into my suitcase with a precision Marie Kondo would admire. The door bursts open without warning. "Mom's having an episode," Summer announces, arms crossed. "But I guess your precious trip matters more than family." I don't pause. Funny how her episodes only ever happen when I make plans? I reply, laying another dress in the case. "Never when you need her to babysit or help remodel your kitchen." Summer's mouth hardens into a thin blade of disapproval. "You've changed, Isolde. You used to care about family." I look up, steady. "I still do. That's why this is so hard." She slams the door behind her, rattling the childhood trophies no one ever showed up to watch me win. While searching my desk for my passport later that night, my hand brushes against something familiar. My old diary. The cover frayed, faded with years. I flip it open, recognizing the uneven handwriting of a 14-year-old me. "Mom and Summer left for Virginia Beach today. Said someone had to watch the house. Again. This is the third vacation this year I've missed." My chest tightens. Entry after entry records the same pattern. Vacations without me. School events they skipped. Promises broken so often they stopped being promises at all. Behind the diary, a shoebox of photographs waits. I sift through them with shaking fingers. Summer grinning at Disney World, Mom and Summer posing at the Grand Canyon, beaches, cabins, weekend getaways. Not a single photo includes me. My phone rings, jolting me. It's Dr. Levine, my therapist. "How are the boundaries holding up?" she asks gently. I describe the day, my voice brittle. "They're crumbling faster than I can rebuild." She listens, then reminds me, "Remember what we talked about? Patterns of manipulation escalate when you start breaking free." Their panic is proof you're moving forward. After we hang up, I call Marissa, the financial advisor I started meeting 3 months ago. I pulled together those records you asked for, she says. Over the past 5 years, you've contributed approximately $48,000 toward your family's expenses, not including the fund itself. That's significantly more than what they've given, based on the documents. Her words land like cement. I am not the burden. I am the pillar holding the weight. The confrontation comes at dinner, though I hadn't planned it. Mom clutches her chest theatrically when I mention my departure date. Something in me breaks open. I'm still going to Italy, I say, my voice steady despite the quake in my chest. Mom collapses back in her chair, wailing, "You're killing me with stress." Summer leaps up, her napkin fluttering to the floor. "Are you serious? You're killing Mom with worry. How can you be so selfish?" The word tastes strange on my tongue, as though it doesn't belong to me at all. I gave up my apartment to come back here. I've contributed nearly 3 times what either of you do to household expenses. I've canceled plans, rearranged work schedules, and reshaped my entire life because Mom claimed she needed me. "Because she does need you," Summer shouts. "No," I snap back. "She doesn't. Not medically. Only financially." The truth lands between us like a crack in glass, exposing everything we've tried to cover. I take a steady breath. "I'm going to Italy," I repeat firmly, "and when I come back, I'll be finding my own place." I don't wait for their reaction. I turn and walk back to my room. The following morning, Maggie from work helps me load boxes into her car. "You can store as much as you need at my place," she offers, lifting a carton filled with photo albums. "Stay as long as you want when you return from Italy." Mrs. Winters, my childhood neighbor who always saw the loneliness I tried to hide, calls to offer her guest room until my departure. "I knew you'd find your strength one day, sweetheart," she says warmly. My boss even arranges an advance on my commission. "Consider this an investment in your mental health," she adds with a kind smile. "Italy will fuel your creativity. Take plenty of photos." In the weeks that follow, old friends resurface, offering support I never realized I needed. The final piece falls into place during a private consultation with Mr. Patterson, the family attorney I found through Mom's address book. "Miss Evans, I'm glad you called," he says, sliding a document across his desk. "This is the deed to your mother's house." I scan the paper, stopping when I see the listed names. Diana Evans. Isolde Evans. My name. "I'm on the deed?" I whisper, disbelieving. "Your grandmother insisted," he explains. "She helped with the down payment and wanted to make sure you always had a home, regardless of your mother's financial choices." I run a finger over my name, a calm settling deep inside me. "Does my mother know I'm aware of this?" I ask. He chooses his words carefully. "I can't disclose what other clients know, but this deed gives you considerable legal leverage in property matters." That evening, I sit on my bed finalizing my Italy itinerary while Mom and Summer whisper frantically in the kitchen below. For the first time in years, their hushed tones don't trigger panic. Instead, I feel steady. I have options. I have strength they don't recognize. I booked a private gondola ride in Venice and smiled. I also confirmed with my lawyer and arranged my move for the day I return, with Mrs. Winters ready to help. They'll see what I'm capable of. On the day of my flight, my fingers hover over the power button on my phone. One press and I'm unreachable. The thought sends a shiver of exhilaration through me. "Final boarding call for Flight 230. 7 to Rome," announces the voice overhead. I tuck the phone into my purse without silencing it. Let them call. Let them panic. For once, the thought of their distress doesn't weigh me down. Instead, it fills me with something bright, almost giddy joy. The flight attendant checks my boarding pass and smiles. "Enjoy your trip to Italy." "I will," I reply, and the certainty in my tone surprises me. As I settle into my seat by the window, my phone vibrates again. Mom's name flashes. Then again, and again. I silence it, watching the missed calls climb to 7 before airplane mode is required. Messages flood in from Summer. "Mom is hysterical. You can't vanish like this. Families don't act this way. Call now." The last one hits with bitter irony. "The cruise might be cancelled because of you." I laugh out loud, startling the elderly man seated beside me. "Sorry," I say quickly, smiling. "Just excited." "First time to Italy?" he asks. "First real vacation of my life," I answer. The plane surges down the runway, pressing me back into the seat. As we lift, something inside me rises to a buoyant, unstoppable lightness. By the time Tampa becomes a patchwork below, I can barely recall why I felt so trapped there. When the drink cart arrives, I order champagne. "Celebrating something?" the attendant asks. I raise the flimsy plastic flute in a private toast. "My independence. At 30,000 feet I'm finally free." Back in Tampa, the chaos I expected begins to unfold. Between naps and in-flight movies, I check my emails. One from Maggie at work makes me chuckle. "Your mother called, insisting you're having a breakdown," she writes. "Don't worry. We told her you're on approved leave and perfectly fine. Boss says enjoy every second." Scrolling Facebook, I find Summer's thinly veiled attack. "Real family sticks together through every hardship." I close the app, lean back, and sip my champagne. For the first time, I feel entirely untethered. Loyalty, they insist, isn't something you just set aside when it feels inconvenient. Family comes first. Disappointed, but not surprised. By the time I land in Italy, 3 of Mom's Bridge Club friends have already left me voicemails. Their voices drip with manufactured concern, barely covering their eagerness to pry. "Your mother is terribly worried, dear," Mrs. Henderson sighs. "Perhaps you might call her?" Family is all we have. Family. As though that word alone justifies a lifetime of manipulation. Instead of dialing back, I open Instagram and upload my first photo, me standing tall in front of Rome's Colosseum. Sun glinting in my hair, shoulders squared, chin lifted, no filter. The caption reads, "First stop on my Italian adventure. Dreams don't wait for permission." The likes and comments rush in. "You look radiant, Maggie." "About time you did something for yourself," writes Mrs. Winters. "This view is everything. More please," adds my old college roommate. Each notification steadies me like a hand pressed reassuringly between my shoulder blades. Each supportive word reminds me I'm not crazy for choosing myself. That night, I glance at Facebook from the charming hotel room I booked. Summer's smug post, "Family first," has backfired spectacularly. Friends and neighbors who once stayed silent now speak up. Funny, I never see Isolde in any of your vacation pictures. Teresa, my high school friend, comments, "Didn't you just brag about booking a cruise last month?" Mom's neighbor chimes in. The same community that enabled their favoritism now begins to see clearly. And what they're saying sounds very much like, "We see the truth now." Before bed, I draft a formal email to Mom, Summer, and our family attorney. The subject line, Withdrawal from family fund effective immediately. The message is short but decisive. I state that I have removed my name from all joint accounts, ended every automatic transfer, and terminated my financial obligations. For any questions, they must contact Attorney Michaels. I attach documentation proving my signature has been erased from the accounts, arrangements I made before leaving. The final blow comes in the confirmation slip. The last automatic payment processed yesterday. Without my contribution, they're short by several $1,000s. Their cruise won't happen. I sleep better that night than I have in years, dreaming of Florence's red domes and Venice's shimmering canals, while across the ocean my mother and sister face the same financial truths I've carried alone for so long. Actions finally come with consequences, only this time they aren't mine. When I return, the airport thrums with reunions. But the faces waiting for me aren't warm. I spot them instantly. Mom slumped dramatically in a wheelchair. Summer hovering with fake concern. My shoulders tense. After 2 weeks of Italian freedom, their act feels almost absurd. Isolde. Summer rushes forward, tears staged to perfection. We were so worried. Mom's been sick with anxiety since you left. Mom reaches for my hand, her grip far too strong for someone supposedly weak. Sweetheart, I'm sorry for everything. We've been thinking. But we need help with the mortgage. The bank called. Without your family fund contributions. Her voice morphs mid-sentence from frail to firm. I glance at my watch and smile. My taxi should be here, I say calmly, stepping out of her embrace. Summer falters. Taxi? We drove all this way to pick you up. I made other arrangements. Right on time, a yellow cab pulls up. Mom stands abruptly from her chair, her illness forgotten. What arrangements? You're coming home, aren't you? I heft my carry-on onto my shoulder. Yes. To pack. The ride home passes in silence, their car trailing behind mine. When we turn down the street, Mom gasps. A moving truck is parked in the driveway. 2 movers carry boxes from the house. What have you done? Summer demands, eyes wide. I pull a folder from my purse. What I should have done years ago. Inside, the living room has become command central. My attorney's assistant sits at the dining table. Stacks of documents spread neatly before her. On the couch sits Mrs. Winters, prim as ever, her presence making Mom hesitate. You remember our neighbor from Cherry Lane? I say. She remembers quite well all those trips you took without me. Mom sputters. This is absurd. But I open a manila folder from my old room. Here are bank statements from the family fund. My monthly contributions. $300. Yours. $50. Every month. I lay them out. Then add another set. Here's confirmation from your own doctor, no medical diagnosis, no condition. Nothing that justified trapping me here. Summer pales. You had no right to. And these, I interrupt, sliding printed text messages across the table, are conversations between you both about, and I quote, keeping Isolde on the hook so I'd keep paying while you planned vacations. Mom's face hardens, the fragile mask gone at last, revealing the truth she never wanted me to see. You ungrateful child, she spits. After everything I sacrificed for you, I no longer let my voice tremble. The bank records spread across the coffee table make the truth undeniable. I covered 70% of the household expenses while you claimed you were too ill to work. I stand squarely in the center of the living room, feeling a surprising lightness settle through me like sun through a window pane. as if a long, heavy load has finally been set down. The movers keep working, efficient and steady, hauling boxes with practiced ease toward the truck. The mortgage notice on the counter is due next week. You will notice my name no longer appears on it. I slide the home sale agreement across to them. As co-owner, I have the legal right to sell my share, and I am doing so. The proceeds will finance my new condominium, and I say it plainly, watching the ripple of comprehension cross their faces. Mother lunges for the paperwork, but my attorney's assistant intercepts calmly and without drama. "You can't do this," Summer shrieks, panic fraying her voice. "Where are we supposed to live now? How will we manage?" "The same way responsible adults do, by supporting yourselves." I reach into my bag for the final packet. I have also removed myself from all shared accounts and canceled every joint credit line, effective immediately. At that, the careful performance my mother has maintained for years collapses. Her features tighten into something ugly and fierce. Rage, not tears, lights her eyes. "You think you're so clever," she hisses. "You've always been selfish, just like your father, always putting yourself first." Summer steps between us, furious and frightened. "Mom, don't say things you'll regret," she pleads, but the tone rings hollow even to her own ears. "We can fix this," she tries next, slipping into the wheedling cadence I recognize from childhood. "Isolde, be reasonable. Family supports each other in hard times." "This isn't family," I say quietly, my voice steady. "This is exploitation, and I will no longer be your bank account." The doorbell rings then, and Mrs. Winters opens it to reveal 3 neighbors I have known since childhood, bringing casseroles and concerned faces. They had come believing the story Summer spread, that Mother was truly ill, and their footsteps falter when I tell them otherwise. "Perfect timing," I say, and invite them in. Mother had been demonstrating how her health crisis was used to keep me tethered, I explain. Summer whirls on Mother, furious and betrayed. "You told me the doctor confirmed your diagnosis," she cries. "And you told me Isolde agreed to fund the kitchen remodel." The house hums with the sound of the deception being exposed. Mother snaps back, and the neighbors shift uncomfortably as the family unravels in plain sight. I sign the last of the papers my attorney's assistant hands me while accusations ricochet around the room. When the final box is hoisted into the truck, I pause for a long moment and take one last look through the rooms that were never truly mine at all. Summer's tears are real now, raw panic rather than the practiced manipulation I had endured for years. Mother sits rigid on the sofa, already calculating her next move without me as the family's source of funds. I walk out with my head held high, refusing to watch the house of polished facades and small cruelties crumble behind me. Morning sunlight spills across the hardwood like a blessing, painting golden shapes that feel, for the first time, like welcome rather than accusation. I stretch out lazily in my reading nook and drink in the ocean view from my beachfront condo. 1 year since I walked away. I still catch myself expecting the old heaviness to settle on my shoulders, but it never arrives. Instead, there is a quiet, steady freedom that has become my new normal. My design portfolio lies open on the coffee table, pages filled with successful projects and notes from satisfied clients. 3 new commercial contracts landed last week, and the work keeps coming. "People respect you more when you respect yourself," Maggie teases during our weekly video call. She has become my closest ally, the friend who helped me move when others believed my mother's stories. I laugh and turn my laptop so she can see the travel map pinned on my wall. Next month, Greece. Later, perhaps Spain in the fall. Colorful pins mark the journeys I have already taken: Italy first, then Portugal and France, each one a promise I kept to myself. Beneath the map, a framed photo from my housewarming shows friends raising glasses in genuine celebration. Genuine smiles all around. No forced expressions, no hidden motives. One afternoon, the mailman drops an envelope. A birthday invitation for my niece, Emma. Summer's looping handwriting on the RSVP line. I take a breath, recall the old reflex of dropping everything, and choose differently. The old Isolde would have rushed back, apologies already forming. The new Isolde orders a beautiful dollhouse and writes a warm card for Emma, then books a table at a restaurant near Summer's neighborhood for a public, neutral celebration. Public places limit private manipulations. Boundaries protect both parties and make kindness deliberate instead of automatic. My therapist calls it progress during our monthly check-in. You are building relationship terms that serve you, she says, and we direct our focus to the future instead of endless cycles of family repair. New traditions fill my calendar now. Sunday brunches with neighbors, a monthly book club at the local library, weekly video calls with friends spread across the country. Mother still calls from time to time, her voice slipping into familiar patterns that used to pull me under. Now I recognize the undertow before it catches me. Last month, a junior designer at work confided about controlling parents and the toll of guilt and obligation. I told her what I had learned. You do not have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm, and I shared the resources that helped me find my footing. The relief in her eyes reflects the same calm I see in my journal entries from the past year, each page marking a slow but steady shift toward peace. This Thanksgiving, my condo hums with warmth and laughter, the air rich with the scents of roasted turkey and cinnamon pie. Friends and neighbors gather around my long dining table, passing bowls and platters hand to hand, voices overlapping in easy conversation. The chair that once sat empty, held hostage by my hope for reconciliation that never arrived, is now filled by Mrs. Winters. Her silver hair glimmers under the soft lights as she leans back, laughing at a shared joke, embodying the family I had always longed for but had to build myself. To chosen family, I say, lifting my glass high, and to choosing the lives we truly deserve. Glasses clink, laughter follows, and in that moment the gratitude running through me feels bigger than the room itself. Later, after the last dish is cleared and the final guest has left, I sink into my couch, laptop balanced on my knees. I scroll through flight options for spring, considering where my next adventure might take me. Maybe Australia, I think, picturing the Sydney Opera House at sunset, its sails glowing like fire against the horizon. It's a dream I've carried quietly for years, and now, it feels within reach. My phone lights up with a new message from my mother. We need to talk. The words sit on the screen like a stone in water. Without hesitation, I turn the phone face down on the table and let the silence reclaim the room. Outside, waves shimmer beneath the moonlight, rolling endlessly, uncaring of old obligations or guilt. Tomorrow will bring its own choices, its own conversations. Tonight is mine alone. The peace I've created isn't flawless, but it's honest. And honesty, I've come to learn, is far more precious than the illusion of perfection.